blessed with a championship prosperity the likes of which we have never seen, cursed by a past riddled with despair. This is Blursed.
And that's the end of the intro. Hello, I'm Hayden, and you're back on Blursed. Quick question: could you guys hear me adjusting my volume?
No, I
Okay.
couldn't.
So
Our intro's
for
so
anybody that
lit.
doesn't know, the background noise plays through my computer and like the soundboard. I adjusted my volume there in the middle of it, like just to my headphones. And I was worried you guys were hearing like the boo-doo, boo-doo.
No, you're good.
No.
Okay, good. We're good.
Yeah.
Today is Tuesday, once again. January
Tuesday, innit?
24th. With that Cockney accent. What's up, everybody? Blake, Aaron, back again.
Yeah,
Yes, back again.
man. Back again. And today's just been a Monday of all Mondays, I felt like. I think
Mhm.
it's post holidays. You come back to work, and I don't know. You know how at the end of the year you're trying to slack a little bit, just a little bit, because it's the holiday season. Everyone's like out of the office. You're taking some time off myself. And then you come back in, and man, we really hit the ground running this year at work. And I'm just trying to catch up. Woo.
Catch
How
up.
y'all?
Oh, we're doing all right. I, of course, have the opposite type of work, so I'm actually starting the part of my work season that is cooling down after
Nice.
having a little busy part. But today was I had to stay a little later today, so yeah, I'm feeling it though. I'm still feeling the Mondays with you.
How you, Hayden? Case of the Mondays today?
Feels like a big Monday. Had a couple of short weeks here to start off the year. 4-day work weeks are better than the long weekend, in my opinion. But
Totally
yeah,
agree.
so back on a full week this week. So Mondays are tough, and it's been snowing a lot out here. I paid some kids to shovel my driveway, which we actually had like a legit snow day in Colorado. Like
Oh,
where
wow.
the kids were out of school, which is pretty
Wow.
rare.
I was about to say that's right. Yeah.
So yeah, some
They do a
kids
good
came
job?
Around. Oh no, I'm pretty upset about it.
Yeah.
So I thought they did a good job and like work from home, so I don't leave every day necessarily. So I go out a couple days later and like they didn't go to the edge of the driveway, and so like when I was backing up, I like clipped a little bit of snow. So then I had to go back out there a couple days afterwards to shovel the snow. And
My
like hurt my
goodness.
back, and I was like, dude, fuck those kids.
Yeah.
Just do it my damn self next time.
We got to
Yeah.
stretch more, man. That's part of the problem.
Dude, you know that's how a lot of people have heart attacks. I figured this out recently. Is shoveling snow because it's cold outside, you get really hot really quick, and like dude,
That makes
it is
sense.
a cardio workout, and
I
I
bet.
am not in shape at all.
When
so.
I was first trying to court Jess and woo her and impress her, we went on it was our listen. Well, we went on our like a weekend trip to Prescott, Arizona,
Mhm.
and we saw the weather forecast called for snow, so we rented like a truck with 4-wheel drive because I mean I'm from Georgia. I would never really driven in snow, not at least not heavy snow. And man, I get anxious anyways. So like as we're going to bed the last night, it's starting to snow. I was thinking in my head, like, oh, it's really accumulating. Like that's a lot of snow. We wake up, there's 7 inches on the ground. And the place we're staying at has a hill. Like for all our YouTube viewers, like it's probably like a 60-degree angle incline. I was just like, man, like this is gonna be tough to do. So I got out there while she's still like waking up with the owner of the Airbnb, and I'm shoveling with him. And we shoveled for like an hour and talked. He was the nicest guy, but I was like, I went back in there, and this is really early on in our relationship. I was like, Jess, we have to go like right now, or we're gonna get stuck here. And I was like, and I can't afford to get stuck here for the next 4 days. But yeah, we got out. It was no escape at all. We rented the truck, but shoveling was not fun. It was not fun.
Doesn't sound like it.
First time's a novelty. After that, it wears off pretty quickly.
Yeah, having that kind old man to shovel with made it much better. If I was doing it alone, I probably would have been upset.
Yes, that's what we've been dealing with this week. Hope everybody else is doing well out there. What say you? Let's jump right into Blurst of the Week.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Worst of the week.
Who wants to go first?
Yeah. Oh no, go ahead, Blake.
Yeah, I don't guys going to this time because mine's
youngest,
not
yeah.
that great. I feel like I'll have the worst one here. This is a little old
Classic.
news, but it's worth talking about still. Joseph Martinez and company, and when I mean company, I'm just mean like all of the old team is now moved on. And it's Blursed because for one reason, like Joseph Martinez is what soccer is in Atlanta. Like he's one of the reasons we are where we are today. He set the MLS gold record, right? Am I wrong there?
Yeah, he did. It's since
Yeah.
it was broken the very next year, but yes.
Right. But yeah, he sent like so many things were accomplished with him here.
Yeah.
And it's Blursed that it's sad he's leaving, but the blessed side of it is it's time for a step in the next direction.
Mhm.
It's time for us to move on. It's time for a new clean slate. And I'm glad we have that. So it's my Blursed because it's going to be sad to see him play another uniform. But overall, I think
it'll be sad to see him sit on the bench injured in another uniform. But yeah.
Is this how you are with every star once they get Julio Jones is the same way. You loved Julio Jones until he got hurt.
I don't know if I love
You liked him. You liked him a lot.
Joseph did a lot more for Atlanta.
Oh, I agree. I'm
Julio
not
Jones, but yeah.
But Julio Jones is the second best player to ever play for the Falcons.
If you
between the years of like
Super
2009 and 2003.
Think of like that one crazy catch he made in the Super Bowl that year.
It was
on the sideline. And like,
I will say he did ball out.
He's like a forever Atlanta hero, and you think about him completely.
Yes,
differently.
If we win the game, yes.
I've always said, and I will continue to. As much hate as I give him, he did step up in that Super Bowl. It ended up not mattering, but he did.
He blew the playoff game the next year.
The next year,
yes,
literally the next year, yeah. And that was the beginning of the end for Aaron and Julio Jones. I will say Joseph Martinez never has quite the downfall that Julio did for Aaron.
He was just injured.
It
was a long
right.
and messy breakup for Aaron and Julio Jones.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Fuck him.
Aaron, why don't you go ahead and give us your Blursed of the week?
We should have him on the pod.
Yeah, let's get Julio on here. All right, so my Blursed of the week is AD Mitchell transferring away from UGA. And when I saw the news, and I'll when we get to the UGA seg, I'll touch on who all is coming back and who all is leaving. But this one really struck me. It was surprising. I was talking about it with our great friend Dylan when the news got released, and Dylan pointed out that some whatever news outlet he saw it on, when they broke the news, they said, as expected, AD Mitchell is in fact transferring from UGA. And I was like, as expected? What are you talking about? Like, as expected, as in from the when you got the news 30 minutes ago, like you since then? Yeah, I mean, to me, it was completely out of nowhere. And I'm not going to say mad, because we don't get mad at college kids for making decisions for what's best for them. Okay.
Hey, that. That's a good.
Or anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, or anyone really. Yeah. Unless they do you wrong. Unless they do you wrong. Yeah. Unless they do it dirty.
Like Julio Jones. So I'm gonna get mad at that. But anyway, but no, he's from Texas and he's transferring to Texas.
Tejas.
Tejas, if you will. So I'm excited for AD Mitchell to go 6-7 after this. And no, I'm kidding. I actually do wish him success. He's going to be playing with Arch Manning, so that'll be cool for him. And anyway, I do wish him the best of luck out there.
Hopefully, he gets the ball.
Here's my question: like, what is the purpose for him making this move in order to get have more chances to catch the ball?
No,
so
it was family related.
Oh, it was.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that was what I was going to get into next. We don't, of course, we're not privy to what exactly family related it is, but he did come out and say that, like, because that's what I was worried about first, was like, damn, is he just afraid that even though he is like the guy, like he was the guy on the team that just went back to back, he just happened to get hurt for the majority of the regular season this year.
But he showed up at the end of the year.
But he still showed up. I mean, he caught the game-winning touchdown in the national championship.
Very George Pickens-esque.
Years in a row.
But he's still, like, he's the guy, like, he was a big moment guy and very, like, clutch, I would say. But still, like, the fourth or fifth option, it felt like, in the receiving game.
But only because we have so many good tight ends. Like,
I don't know if that's his
number one
fault.
Wide receiver.
It's like, I don't blame him for leaving because of that. Like, you got to get yours, man. You got to eat.
For sure. But like I said, he came out and said that it was family reasons. Like I said, he's from there. All his family's there.
That makes sense.
So he's gonna go go there. So it's Blursed because it sucks losing him.
It does.
But also I'm happy for him as far as if that's where he wants to go. And I think it'll be a better chance, like Hayden was saying, for individual success, given that he's not going to be on as good of a football team.
Yeah. And I would rather see him go there than like Alabama. Who was the guy last year who went to Alabama?
Oh yeah, that was pretty funny. Jermaine Burton went to
Jermaine Burton.
Alabama.
Yeah, exactly.
He was like, all right, hell yeah, I just won a national championship with Georgia. Now I'm gonna go to Alabama and come in second in the West.
Yeah, coming
So
second into West.
Pretty cool. But
something else
but,
about Donnie Mitchell.
He will still be in the SEC, by the way.
Yeah,
AD Mitchell will be in the SEC with Texas.
True that.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was in 2 years. That's this year?
No, so I think it's this year.
I think it's this year because that's why Georgia and Oklahoma had to cancel their game.
2023.
Huh.
After the 20. No, it's next year.
Then why'd we have to cancel the game? Georgia and Oklahoma
close.
had to. Yeah, too close. You know what? Not a year. Yeah, give us a year buffer. I mean, I guess that is it. I thought it was this year because we had to cancel the game.
That's a little bizarre.
But apparently, the move wasn't going to happen until 2025. But they're trying to make it happen in 2024.
Okay, so yeah, it is. It will be one more year.
One last hit on AD Mitchell, real quick. I always thought the guy wasn't that big of a wide receiver, like more like a 6 foot fast guy, because of just how big our offense is around him. Like Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington are huge guys. I didn't realize AD Mitchell until the championship game was like 6'4", and like he's a prototypical.
Is he really?
Yes, he's a prototypical X wide receiver. But he looks the Falcons so small. Yeah, exactly. He's like a Drake. Yeah, but he looks so small compared to everybody else. I never realized it.
Well, good luck to AD Mitchell. Everything's bigger in Texas, they say. So hopefully his target share is a little bit bigger.
Hopefully.
Working with Arch Manning out there. Speaking of Arch, did you guys see the whole thing of his first week on campus? He lost his student ID twice.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so like people like just took a picture of the ID like, hey, you need this? And the first time it was really funny because it just like trended on Twitter. Then it happened again like 2 days later.
Like, bro,
dude.
Okay, he might not be the smartest cookie because I didn't know that one. But what I thought you were going to say was he also made a post where apparently someone made a fake Arch Manning profile on LinkedIn, and his IG post about it was like, I don't even know what LinkedIn is. But that's not me. People are telling me that on whatever that is, they're getting messages from me. I'm not on there.
That's surprising because I mean
he's an 18-year-old kid.
As a Manning,
I knew what LinkedIn
you would
was
expect that he would never need a LinkedIn, but he's also the son of the one Manning that didn't do anything.
Yeah, that probably has a LinkedIn.
He probably actually had to have a LinkedIn at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
His dad
Manning. His dad like rolling his eyes, watching that. Like,
hey, what's the name of that?
Oh, I taught you.
Cooper
Manning. Yeah.
Old Cooper.
Yeah.
All right, so let's switch to my Blursed of the week. I'm going to call out Atlanta sports media a little bit because it's been a tumultuous week. Starting with old Steak Shapiro getting into it with our guy Stetson Bennett.
Steak.
He was calling out Stetson for during the parade being on his phone too much, and like thus disappointing fans that were there, which is just ridiculous.
And he had other fans too going in on that, saying, I was there and I was just so disappointed.
Yeah, like, sadly, Steak had people agreeing with him.
And it's like, was that day about you at all?
It's I mean, it feels like he's just trying to be more divisive than like a celebratory thing. But anyway, so Stet went in on Steak, which was great.
Oh, so good.
Straight up said he didn't like him and he didn't like his work, which was fabulous.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But Stet was basically, he was controlling the music for the car through with the aux.
Yeah,
so,
the man was on the aux. All right.
Yeah,
that's a value.
I like how
his teammates.
Yes. I love how he spelled it out to him too. Like a group of people, a team, are celebrating a thing. Something else too that fans have to realize is that yes, we are fans of these teams, but one for college is completely different as well. But like these are the people playing. Like they're the ones to be happy. They're the one that won something. We didn't do anything. We're just watching.
We didn't. It's not that we didn't do nothing, but yeah, they're the ones that they're the ones that went out there and
we did next to nothing.
To nothing.
Right. We did as little.
But like,
as
it's not about
nothing
celebrating
adjacent.
Championship. Yes, it's awesome for us, and we get to brag about it. But we're just rooting for them. We just lucky we root.
What to me, it is another rearing of the head of this terrible thing that people have yet to figure out, and it's that, say it with me, athletes don't owe us anything. Okay, they're not our role models. Okay, all right, if your child needs a role model, guess what? It should be you, mom, you, dad, you, brother, you, sister. Okay, it doesn't need to be LeBron James. It doesn't need to be Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, or they them.
Yes, whatever parental roles that encompasses. But yes.
Yes, yeah, that's a really good point. But yeah, so I
It's a
thought
great
that was
point.
funny that Steak got char grilled, well past medium rare.
Hey,
He did get char
Um,
grilled. And the crazy part too for me is I think Steak's going to be taking over the morning show because you saw Hugh Douglas is now going to
oh, is he gonna
Philadelphia.
go?
He's going to Philadelphia. They've already announced that.
No,
I
no,
think
no, no,
this is
no. I know that Hugh's leaving, but is
well,
State gonna
I'm
join
starting
John?
to think that Steak's show coming in the middle there was for when this happened for him to move up. They didn't announce that. I'm speculating, but
I
it'd be
hope
it'd
that's
be
not the
really
case.
weird if that's the case. I'll say too, like on top of that, I feel like 99 the game in general, their whole media, a lot of them having a bad case of foot mouth recently. Just a lot of them saying dumb crap.
Yeah, they have.
Can't wait till we get that big and we start getting called
Yeah,
out.
we can
Yeah,
get criticized
Stupid.
for that.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
Real
Oh,
quick,
we will.
in addition to Steak Shapiro, the AJC has been publishing some very, I don't know, what's a good word for it? Problematic or I don't know.
Problematic's a good
It
word.
feels like they're digging in too deep on the whole Devin Willicks issue, like who sadly passed away a couple weeks ago. An accident with another woman that worked with the university, like on the, what was it,
They're recruiting
recruiting
staff.
staff.
They're recruiting
yeah,
staff.
so there's a car accident in Athens on Barnett Shoals, and so now the AJC is starting to dig in deeper on why the football players were downtown Athens and why was this person that works with the program with them, and they were at a strip club earlier that day, and like none of that fucking matters, and it's weird that they're trying to like dig into this more than it needs to be. I mean, people are friends with people they work with a lot of the time, which that's not ridiculous. 25-year-old hanging out with like 22-year-olds, that's not a weird thing. It's not problematic either. Chances are they called the girl that worked with the team. They probably called her to pick them up from downtown because
that's exactly
happens.
what it was. So it was
happens.
Devin Willick and Warren McClendon, and then 2 recruiting staffers. And from what I've been told, from what I've read and understood about the program, they use people that go to school there that can be on the recruiting staff as well. And they're essentially like helping, like they'll make sure they get to class on time. Or like you said, if they're drunk downtown, they'll go pick them up. Like they are not, it's not anything more than that. I've seen people try to make it out to be something that I don't even want to say on here, but that it's just inappropriate.
I know what you're
like you
saying.
said.
That's the word.
I know inappropriate. I know what you're saying. I think a lot of people too are like factoring the point like, well, why did they hire women to do that? And it's like because there's already so many men in this program anyway. Why does it matter if it's a woman or a man though? Like I don't. I know you're hitting on Aaron and you're 100% right. And
they're just trying to dig in on something that doesn't matter. And like, you know, I've seen that firsthand attending the university. I'm sure Blake, you probably saw it as well in your time there. Like if you were ever in a class with other athletes, it didn't matter if they were football players or not, any athlete. A lot of the time they'll have people check, like signing them into the class.
Yeah.
To make sure they're attending what they need to be doing and like doing what they're there to do.
But before the class starts, at least at UGA, that's how it was. You would have someone there representing the athlete, and they'd have to sign in with them to show that they went to class.
Right.
Yeah.
And
so there's a lot of oversight, and there's a lot of stuff that helps these student athletes. And unfortunately, like this, it was just a tragic accident, but it doesn't have to be anything more than that. And so I was a little bit frustrated with the AJC for even digging into that and trying to make that.
And their headline of their article was completely messed up, and yeah.
So. All right, that's my Blursed Atlanta sports media, unfortunately.
But
yeah.
So, all right, do we want to vote on the Blees of the week here?
I don't know if we've been keeping track of who's won the most.
Oh, I'm not.
But
usually we tie.
Yeah, last week we tied.
I'm gonna go.
I remember that.
I'm actually going to go with Hayden's because actually, what's the blessed of this though?
I guess Stet roasting the hell out of Steak.
Yeah, that was nice to see. Oh, speaking of that part, not to interrupt the voting, but there was another tweet where it was he also, I think it was Zach Klein on this one, the same dude that roasted or that got all on Trae Young back when that was falling apart.
Yeah.
Zach said something about Stet being on his cell phone, and Stet was like, a cell phone? What is that? I'm so old. I don't even know.
Right. I wouldn't know what
that is.
Yes, yeah. That was awesome.
I have a landline, but this is ridiculous. I vote for Aaron, mostly because mine's a downer.
Okay, well, to make it another tie,
Well,
I'm gonna vote for Blake.
Well, I
There you
want
go.
to change my vote.
Yeah.
I actually want to change my vote to Aaron.
When I changed
Hey.
mine to Hayden. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm
I'm kidding.
The math is getting too complex here.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the Falcons. That'll be our main subject today.
Hell yeah.
Falcons.
Hell yeah. I love the Falcons. All right. Speaking of how much I love the Falcons, I was talking to Brady. Oh, shout out Brady. Yesterday, and I was like, dude, the Falcons are gonna be so good next year. And he goes, whoa, slow down. I said, I didn't mean that. I was like, I meant it so good for the Falcons. Like compared to how we've been the last 5 years, we're gonna be better than that. That's all I was
Listen,
trying to say. And
Brady's one of our few friends that still has hair. Okay, don't make him tear it out. All right, Blake. God.
But speaking of the
Damn.
Falcons and how we can be positive about them, the biggest question mark, because this is what Brady said yesterday, is well, who's playing quarterback? Because like that's what it comes down to next year. It really does. I think as a whole, we can see with the draft coming up and the free agency money we do have that there's a good chance we have a good team next year. But a lot of it's going to rest on the fact of who's our quarterback. And we have a couple of options. So today I just want to pick your brains on what would be everyone's preferred route, and then what would be the ups and downs, the pros and cons of doing each one of these kind of options.
Mm-hmm.
So do y'all have a part you want to start? You want to say something, Hayden?
Lay out our options here.
Okay,
What are our main options?
So the main options, then there's options within the options, but the main three options would be this. First off,
There's sub
options. There's sub options.
Options.
But option one would be to stick with Ritter, develop Ritter, and then you'd bring in a backup quarterback to compete with him. And there's options on what those backups could be. Option two, you go after a veteran who could bring you to the playoffs. And the three that came to my mind were Lamar, Jimmy G, and Derek Carr. There might be a couple more that could do it, but those were Ryan Tannehill might be someone else that's going to be out. I don't know if he can still do it, but
those three are the most capable. Although Ryan Tannehill does have a history
with art. Yeah, so I guess those four, you could leave those four in it. And the last option would be to draft one of the big three, or you could say four if you want to conclude Richardson, but Young, Stroud, Will Levis.
I don't want to.
Let's just include
him. Yeah,
those three. And so those are your three options. Obviously, all of them have pros and cons and costs associated with each. So where do y'all want to start?
Ooh, who wants to go first?
I'll go. Why don't we for me, I will say that my preferred option of what you gave there is to stick with Ritter and pour our assets elsewhere, pour our money and our draft capital into different positions and just roll the dice on Ritter. However, that comes with a bit of an asterisk, and that is that put your feelers out there, things that we can't know, right? But things that real teams do. Put your feelers out there. Figure out how realistic it is to get Lamar and figure out what that price would be. Because, yeah, they're going to franchise tag him. And acquiring a player on a franchise tag is doubly expensive because not only do you have to trade assets away to get that player from the team they're on, but because they were franchise tagged, you then have to immediately give them a contract, which is something that doesn't normally happen when you trade for a player.
Oh,
and
wow.
So, yeah. And so so that is something we need to really figure out.
Do you have a price point for Lamar? Like, so it
well,
sounds like
yeah. So the problem with that, and you put I think you sent us the numbers of it earlier today about what quarterbacks are getting paid what.
Yeah.
And you saw that. Yeah. I think you said that the Ravens, at least reported off of this, the Ravens' final offer to Lamar last offseason was $133 million, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, and so if you
they raised
$100
it less.
Yeah, $100 million less than Deshaun, and
it's less than Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson.
It's almost $30 million less than. Wait, no,
it's $50 million less than Kyler Murray.
Okay, so Kyler was there. I wasn't sure if Kyler was in the 150.
Kyler's 189 guaranteed.
Wow. Yeah.
Russell Wilson 161, Aaron Rodgers 150, Josh Allen 150, Pat Mahomes 141, Matt Stafford 130.
So if you ask a team and you say who do you want on your team right now more between the trio of Lamar, Deshaun, or Kyler Murray, any sane individual is going to say Lamar.
You have to say Lamar.
and so it is not in any way reprehensible of Lamar to ask for that kind of money. And so, and that's what he's going to continue to do, especially since he has the play style that he does. Lamar and certainly the people around him, they don't seem like they're dumb. They're not going to play dumb, at least as far as knowing that he has I'm not going to say a shorter lifespan in the NFL because of how he plays, but he knows that at any moment he could get Robert Griffin. Okay.
Yeah.
And Robert Griffin got screwed out of a lot of money because of that. And he doesn't want to be the next one. And so, and I don't blame him at all for that. So you got to figure out where he lies, but you're going to have to realize it's going to be somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And then you got to figure out what the Ravens want from him.
Pick wise.
That's why, to me, because I think that would all be too expensive for the Falcons.
Yeah.
That's why, to me, you stick with Desmond Ridder because of what he showed you. He showed you not just in jersey number, but in performance, he showed you that he's Dak Prescott as a floor, I think.
That'd be cool.
And I think that he could be even better than that.
I mean, if you look at, so a couple of things to hit off of. One, what I'm hearing from you is that there's no one straight answer here because there's so many depending factors. There's so many depending variables. And like, I'm right there with you. Like, if Lamar Jackson's price was something that we thought we could afford and wouldn't cost you the whole farm, it's something to go after. But there's a lot of ways Lamar could be too much and price us out. Because something else I want to bring up real quick was, here's the cap percentage of each team's quarterback as they head into conference rounds this coming weekend. Pat Mahomes is 17% of the Chiefs' salary cap. He's the highest.
Damn.
The other three are Burrow at 4.7% because he's on his first rookie deal. Hurts on 0.7% rookie deal, later draft pick, and then Brock Purdy 0.3%.
God.
That is awesome, and it speaks to like the younger quarterbacks on the rookie contract that the Russell Wilson model that the Seahawks had when they were so successful 10 years ago or whatever it is now.
Yeah, 10 years ago, basically. Yeah, but the thing is San Francisco have three quarterbacks, and the three quarterbacks still add up to only 10% between Trey Lance, Garoppolo, and Purdy, which is, but so it just shows you that. I'm not saying that other quarterbacks couldn't make it, because Tom Brady, he went to the Super Bowl so many times and he was a bigger percentage of his team's contract. Like, it's not that teams can't do it. It just shows you how hard it is to be one of the last teams standing every year when you take up a large portion of your.
I mean, that's for Mahomes, that's 17%. Well, for all of them, all these percentages are based on 52-man rosters, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe that includes practice squad too, but those guys aren't getting paid anywhere close.
No,
but I mean, that's pretty significant, and like it can cripple your team in a couple different ways. And so that's kind of where I land as well. I agree with Aaron. It's important to do your due diligence as a team, and like, you know, whether that is like scouting these players out and thinking like these rookies, if you think one is a transcendental talent, then maybe you make that decision. But that one's third on the list for me, is going after a rookie quarterback, because it is such an unknown.
Yeah.
And so one thing Blake and I were talking about earlier was like, just look at like what the Jets have gone through in recent years. They drafted Sam Darnold, I think in 2018.
They traded up for him.
And then they draft 2 years later, or 3 years later, they drafted Zach Wilson. Like, both of those were, so I think Darnold was a 3rd overall, Zach Wilson was number 2 overall, and neither one of those have worked out. They just didn't have it. And so you just don't know. Even with that high draft capital, these quarterbacks, it's such an unknown.
It is.
That if you sink all your hope into that, you don't know what you're going to get.
I know.
So if you find someone that might fit the mold, and you've seen a little bit of glimmer of hope in the NFL, then you should ride it out.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm right there with you that it's my last preferred option, especially with Ridder on the team. And my big reason too is not only the Jets, but I was talking to Hayden in the bullpen before you hopped on, Aaron, about this too, is Trey Lance. So San Francisco gave up to get to the 3rd pick in 2021. They traded the 12th pick in that draft, their 1st round for the 2022, their 1st round for 2023, and their 3rd round pick in 2022. They went from 12 to 2 or to 3, which is a big jump. But that's what they traded to get Trey Lance. And now Trey Lance, like, we don't know what he is.
Yeah, we still don't know. But I think even at the time, most of us thought that was a bad trade. I certainly did, at least.
It's a question mark. It's like the Josh Allen thing. Like
the one like asterisk I would put on it being a poor, or whether I thought it was a poor trade at the time or not, was how much I love and trust Kyle Shanahan with football knowledge. Seeing him want to go get somebody, I was like, okay, well, Trey Lance is probably going to be good.
Yeah.
But, and he still may be, but But that's there aren't very many coaches that I put that much weight behind.
Right, but
And
it just
GM
shows
as well.
you.
John Lynch is like done an
Oh yeah,
amazing job.
Yes.
just phenomenal
yes.
job as a GM.
Yes, but it
Maybe a
shows
better
you.
GM than safety. I don't know. It's crazy. The man's a Hall of Fame safety, but he might be a better GM.
I was just gonna say it shows you like in order for the Falcons at 8 to get up to get Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, or even Will. I don't even know if Will Levis goes down to 8. Like you would have to trade up to get him, and so you're looking at a package like one of these to go get one of those guys.
That's
and
another
it just
thing. Speaking of Will Levis, a quick aside. I'm
Yeah.
hearing so many things saying that he'll go number 1 if the Bears trade it.
Well, we just read some contrary stuff too, though, before the pot saying he's like the 5th or 6th best quarterback. So
Yeah.
it's all over the place right now.
It
Some
is.
What
sources
he
are putting
is.
him behind like Anthony Richardson.
That's
as
crazy.
well, which is
And see,
surprising.
And I know we've talked about the subterfuge aspect of it before. Some of it's got to be that one way or the other. I don't know which way, but some of it has to be other GMs telling their leaks.
Fake narratives. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fake narratives to throw other teams off. That happens.
Or real narratives too. But it just, you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
never know right now. They play their cards so close to their chest. But so I'm with you. That's my last option. I think Ritter in 4 games showed us he didn't. That's the hard part though. I don't think he proved to us he is this future starting quarterback. But if you put him up against any other 4 games of a rookie quarterback besides Brock Purdy this year, it's pretty on par. Like even with Matt Ryan, his first 4 games of his NFL career, it's pretty on par with that. He actually had better numbers than Matt. But Matt was doing it right out of college straight away. But still, like it didn't give me enough to say that's our guy, but it gave me enough to where like I don't want to trade to go get a young guy. Like I don't want to trade up in the draft to go get a young guy. I will be though, however, okay with us drafting maybe like a Max Duggan or a Stetson Bennett later in the draft. Like I'm fine with that and adding quarterback competition that way.
Yeah, for sure.
The huge irony is like I was talking to Blake about this in the bullpen. It was just like I've only seen 1 game out of Max Duggan, and he didn't get to show anything, which is not necessarily his fault.
Yeah,
but like
same.
I feel like I did not get to watch him play at all. Just like he had no chance.
But I know he has the same skill set that we're kind of looking for.
Sure. And I was looking at the draft order here. Right now it's Chicago, Houston, Arizona, Indianapolis. And then you see some of these teams, Seattle, Detroit, and then it goes Vegas, Atlanta, Carolina, and then the Eagles. And so like you see these teams that have traded for these draft picks. And like a lot of these are a result of like moving quarterbacks around. So that's from the Stafford trade that included Jared Goff. And then Detroit ended up having a better season than the Rams. And then Seattle had a better season than Denver too. It's super impressive. And then obviously the Eagles are on the cusp of a Super Bowl. So it's incredible that they've made these moves and then they're still sitting here with top 10 picks.
So jealous.
Right.
It's very valuable to be able to do that. But yeah, so, I don't know if any of those quarterbacks make it down to 8 anyways, or those top 3.
Yeah.
And I think Chicago would be best suited to trade that pick.
Trade away. Yeah.
There's no reason they could just load up on more picks.
And the Colts I kind of have incentive to jump ahead of the Houston to go get their guy right here. I think that makes the most sense. And then the only team below us, I think, who's like quarterback hungry in the draft would be Carolina. And I don't think they're not going to trade with us for the pick. Maybe they would want to trade up, but like that doesn't kind of seems weird for them to trade with us to go up ahead of us. So,
but I mean, Houston, Indianapolis, Vegas all need quarterbacks. Right there too.
Vegas. Yeah, I forgot. Vegas needs one too. Yeah,
they all do. So, may not end up being a decision. Who knows? But yeah, that's why it's lower on my tier. But then, I think early in the history of Blursed, we discussed how Lamar would be a good fit in Atlanta before we knew what was going to happen with Ritter.
Yeah.
And I've changed my tune after what I've seen, just because if we can build success around a quarterback on a rookie contract, it's just going to pay so much more dividends than if we trade for Lamar, which is going to be costly, and then pay him, I don't know, $200 million contract. That's going to take up a ton of that cap that Blake was talking about. And then that kind of that limits you in building depth. And it's all invested on one player. If that one player gets hurt, if I don't know, he doesn't have the skill set he used to, then you're just sunk basically for 5 years.
I do have some like hypotheticals though for you. Now, say say Lamar Jackson gets franchise tagged and he says, well, I'm just going to sit out the year. Because he could very well much do that. Then they might have to take less for a trade. You know what I mean? Like I just think there's possibilities, and I'm not saying it's what I'm trying to say is not impossible. And there's not a situation where I wouldn't. What I'm trying to say, there are still situations I would still want to trade for Lamar, because I think there's still some situations where you could trade. You're still have to trade a good bit to get him, and you're still have to pay him some good money. But Lamar takes your team from 7-10 this year to like what 12-5.
Yeah.
Like 12 and
for
5.
sure.
Playoff.
You're definitely a playoff team.
You're first in your division. And not only that, like there's ways now too, you can manipulate his contract to be more backloaded, which yes, then we're going to be in the situation that maybe the Saints are in right now. But if you have a window to win with Lamar and you can backload his contract and go get some more of the free agents to go with him, like then it sounds like a pretty good deal. And he's already a better core here than what he had in Baltimore when it comes to like a offensive core as a whole. Like all he has is Mark Andrews there.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is I'm not opposed to getting Lamar right now. That's still my number one option for the right price. Like if we could get Lamar and it made sense in the way it's structured, could set us up to be competitive for the next 3 or 4 years with him, and we could like try to go win a championship. And even after that, there's like Terry seems like a guy who knows what he's doing and can still find a way to compete when you have a quarterback. Getting your quarterback's the hardest thing.
Right.
So the way I see it is if you could get Lamar and it's not going to cost us everything, I'm for it. But besides that, I don't want Jimmy G over Ritter. I don't want Derek Carr over Ritter. We've seen what their peaks are. It's not worth it to me. Now, when it comes down to keeping Ritter, what do I want? Do I want a veteran or a rookie to compete with him? Why not both? I'm okay with drafting a rookie late again and also getting a veteran to come in here and compete. You need 3 quarterbacks on the roster anyways. And I like the idea of that if Ritter for some reason doesn't pan out, you still have another young guy because that's what San Francisco did. That's what New England did too. They had Zappy came in a couple of games this year and started and won a couple of games. The Jets had to use 3 quarterbacks at times. Mike White was their best quarterback and he's their third string. So it just, I think having that extra depth is not a bad idea. And when you can get it so cheaply late in the draft, why not? There's some good quarterbacks out there like Stetson that will fall.
And that's a great counterpoint to Lamar is a sure thing. We know what he's capable of. He's shown it for years. He won the MVP. And he can do that for years to come. Ritter is more of a question mark because of such a limited sample size, which is still frustrating to me about he only got 4 games in this year. But yeah, so that's the trade-off, risk reward. How much are we going to spend? Where are we going to spend it?
Right. No, it's 100%. But I think we're all kind of on the same page here that was Ritter your number one option too, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I saw enough for him just to give him a season at least. Like maybe he's not the guy, but I saw enough for him to go out there and at least go start the season or try to compete for it, at least compete for it. I'd be more disappointed because I saw that the Vegas right now is pretty confident that they're going to trade Carr, which I think is kind of crazy because there's incentive for a lot of these teams not to trade for him because once he's on open market, you don't have to pay that $46 million. So like, you know what I mean? Vegas is kind of on the books for that. However, they're pretty confident they're going to trade him, and apparently there's some competition within the NFC South for him, which like Carolina and the Saints could see themselves like, look, we're a quarterback away. Maybe I'm not sure how they feel, but
I mean,
that's stuff like that. Even the Bucks would want him too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Pretty interesting there. I'm hoping that he doesn't come here. What I'm trying to say is I'm hoping we're not the ones trying to trade for him. Like,
right.
Yeah, it would only be that top value of Lamar Jackson, I think.
Absolutely. Or at least you would hope.
But like, I mean, I wonder if they have any predictions for next season yet, because like with Ritter's quarterback, like I would expect us to have 10 wins.
Yeah, I don't know about 10. I'm at 9 wins right now. But I don't know because there's so much to shake out because we could screw up free agency. We could screw up the draft. I'm a Falcons fan, so I always assume we do this stuff poorly, even though the new regime has done it actually okay the last couple of years. So
it's the Atlanta way. And that was 10 wins off the cuff, nothing besides us just chatting about the Falcons.
Yeah.
But just based on what we saw this year and like
there's reasons to be optimistic.
They got hot there at the end of the season with a quarterback that could fill in there. So who knows? We'll see what happens.
I did have a little mini NFL seg for y'all if y'all wanted. I wanted to re-look at because we're talking about quarterbacks today. I wanted to go back to our top 10 list we made. of quarterbacks.
Oh boy. I don't think we should.
Um,
I don't think we should.
you don't want to?
Probably not. No, because I know I said Matt Ryan. So
Yeah, I think Matt Ryan was your number 10. So here was our list. 1, Aaron Rodgers. 2, Pat Mahomes. 3, Josh Allen. 4, Tom Brady. 5, Matt Stafford. 6, Justin Herbert. 7, Joe Burrow. 8, Russell Wilson. 9, Lamar Jackson. And 10, Matt Ryan. We had Dak at 11, Kyler at 12, Deshaun at 13, Derek Carr 14, Kirk Cousins 15.
it's tough out there, guys.
I mean, no one would have predicted Geno hitting the top 10 this year, but like if I'm looking at top 10
But he's still
quarterbacks next year, he's still not in my top
That's what I was
10.
about to say.
Right,
He's still
yeah.
not.
He's still not
that.
Yeah, he's not.
Whether we want to go off of like top 10 performances or do we want to go off like actual what we believe they are talent wise?
I don't even want to do a whole top 10. I'd rather do a top 5. Let's just look at our top 5 because our top 5 is actually kind of bad too. But this was brought up in our group meet with our friends, and I kind of really liked Gray. So shout out to Gray. He was on the pod before. He had Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Herbert as his top 5. I'm not sold on the Trevor Lawrence, but I don't mind Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Herbert, Lamar as my top 5. Or Lamar, you can be 4 above Herbert, really, for me.
So what are we judging on? Is it talent only, or is it like performance based, or a combination of the two?
Mine's more of like next year. Who would I want? Who would I want my team? And I would do it like that's my top 5. Mahomes would be my first choice. Joe Burrow would be number 2. Josh Allen would be number 3. I would rather have Lamar and then
like,
Herbert.
Some of these quarterbacks have Hall of Fame coaches, and then some of them don't.
That is another great point.
Justin Herbert is one we've talked about. Brandon Staley, we've talked about how he's been unsuccessful. They actually just fired Lombardi, the offensive coordinator.
I saw that. Yeah, it's gonna be his third play caller in 4 years.
Mahomes has only played for Andy Reid, who is a Hall of Fame coach and has been doing it for 20 plus years. I mean, that's tough to compare the two. Mahomes probably is the best. But yeah, and then Allen kind of had a downslide this year after losing.
Yeah, I'm not putting him in my top 5 currently.
Really? He's still based on like overall talent stuff. He's still in my top 5. The reason I had Mahomes as 1 is because yes, he's had Andy Reid as a coach, but look at the things he like. I know you didn't watch the playoffs this weekend, but when they were playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, the things he can do to keep a play alive for that extra 4 or 5 seconds that gets one of his guys open, it's just incredible. And then the way he throws it on the run, like he's just a one and only when it comes to what he can do right now and the way he manipulates the pocket. I think Lamar can do the similar things when he's on his best, but he just hasn't had the receiving core to give him a chance.
No. It would be interesting to see Lamar like with a better offensive-minded coach. So
it would be.
What if you put Lamar in Kansas City?
Oh, boy. That would be very interesting.
That would be.
It would be really interesting.
What did you guys, while we're hitting on the Jags and Chiefs, what did you guys think about that hit on Patrick Mahomes? Did you think it was dirty? Did you see the hit?
I actually didn't see the hit. I was still at work. No, I was still at my parents' house trying to get them to.
I didn't see this hit.
When that happened.
The defender just like, it was a very awkward play, but it felt like he just like touched his shoulder pads and then sunk straight down onto his ankle like really hard. So I thought it was kind of
ankle.
Dirty.
Yeah.
So see if you can find the hit. But yeah, hopefully Mahomes is back for the game next week. But it does feel like there's been a huge transition, I guess, over the course of the last 2 seasons of the old regime and the new. And we're seeing that in the playoffs this year with quarterbacks. They're all super young guys still, with Mahomes being the oldest at, 27?
27, yeah.
Which is pretty wild. But, yeah, it seems like, maybe Mahomes, Burrow, Allen is like the new Tom Brady,
Peyton and Drew Brees, or whoever you want to.
Phillip Rivers.
Brett Favre, whoever you want to put there, whoever rotated in and out. Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, it's great for the game, too. It's fun to watch the guys that are capable of doing it. So hopefully we get a larger class of quarterbacks that reach that tier to make football more fun to watch.
I think it is kind of cool that the NFL and the NBA are going through that right now at kind of the same time. The old guard is transitioning out and the new guard is coming in both of those leagues, and that doesn't happen often.
Dude, LeBron's 38 years old, and he just won Western Conference Player of the Week. the Lakers went 3-1, and he averaged 33 points a game, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. At 38
crazy.
years old, his 20th year in the league.
Yeah.
He's a freak of nature.
Will he
is.
slow
It's
down?
wild.
But
Yeah,
didn't
he'll
he
eventually
He
slow
just
down.
went over 38,000 points or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
he's going to pass
Kareem.
this year. Yeah. And he'll be the points leader. And I know some people argue, well, it took him this many years to do it. And it's like the fact that he can play this high level this long shows why he's the GOAT. But that's a different conversation for a different day. But
yeah, it's easier to tell like those transitions in like NBA and NFL, I feel like, than it is MLB. Just because like maybe team size, and then I don't know, 9 players starting on each team, and there's 30 plus teams, and
it's
a good point.
It's hard to track. It's more of it feels like more of a team sport, or more of like you need a rounded team as opposed to like,
Mike Trout's the perfect example of that.
Yeah. If you have the superstar quarterback, then your team's probably going to be good. If you have if you have LeBron James, you're probably going to be good.
Yeah.
Although there's been some tough years here of late for the Lakers, but yeah, Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani both on the same team.
Two best players in
with a losing record. So
wild.
Pretty crazy.
Before we move on, I just want to hear, Aaron, who do you have above Josh Allen in your top 5?
I'd say 5 would be Lamar. I'd say 4, I'm putting T-Law there.
Damn.
Then I would go 3 Herbert. I would go 2 Burrow and 1 Mahomes.
I don't hate it. I disagree, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, I get it. I understand that, but yeah.
That's the coach thing. The difference to me between Trevor Lawrence and Josh Allen right now. Dang it, Doug Peterson?
Yeah,
Doug
He's
Peterson,
shown that he's a very capable offensive mind in the league.
Oh, for sure.
I think that has made all.
And
the
to your
difference
point, not only that, I think there's a double factor there. Not only does T-Law have Doug Peterson now, but Josh Allen doesn't have Brian Daboll anymore.
Yeah. Well, also too, look at the Bills' offense outside of Diggs. They just like Gabe Davis is like he's the big, like he's not a number 2, he's a number 3. He's a home run. What I'm trying to say, he's like a worse Deshaun Jackson. Like he's not the big home run hitter. He can't do that. And
it's a better offense than Lamar and T-Law.
Oh yes. Yeah. Well, T-Law is better. I say receiving options. I think he does.
See, but like Doug Peterson is getting the most out of his receivers.
Yes, he is.
You're right.
You're right.
Exactly.
You're right.
As opposed to like Diggs is on his own. It feels like.
Yes,
like
you're right.
Outperforming everyone.
And T-Law has Calvin Ridley next year.
Maybe.
If the NFL reinstates him, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of crazy.
That is.
Oh, he might want to get some action on the Super Bowl game. So
that's a great point.
All right.
Yeah.
What do we want to chat about? We're about 45 minutes in.
Yeah. Plus, Blake, I know you got to leave here.
Yeah, let me bust Hawks real quick, so just in case. Yeah. We don't.
Hawks.
Y'all. So the Hawks in our last 10 are 7-3, should be 8-2, and we should be on a 6-game win streak right now. The refs did in fact steal one from us at the end, which it happens in basketball. It's going to happen.
Can I get in here real quick?
Well, I have a caveat. It's not just the refs' fault. We were up big in this game.
Yeah, how much?
19, I think, at one point.
They didn't just take 19 points off the board.
You're right, but you got to play a complete game.
You do, but good teams don't let the refs blow the game for you.
Yeah, well, I would say good coaches. I'm still in this. This is the cliff I'm going to die on with the Hawks. They're a good team with a bad coach. That's what they are.
You talking about Hills?
Talented.
Yeah,
team.
not a cliff, a hill. Yeah, they're a talented team with a bad coach.
Can be good.
They could be good. I see what you're saying. Yeah,
which is not good.
Yeah, but I think it's the coach. I really do. And like part of my thoughts in this is that the whole fourth, if you just put Jalen Johnson or AJ Griffin in, I think we win that game. We needed to switch it up. We need some young guys in there who could make some plays. And he just wasn't putting them in there. And then you let the lead go away, and then you're having to fight for the win at the end instead of being proactive. I don't know. I don't know. He's hindering the Hawks more than anyone else. But
where are the Hawks sitting right now after that win streak?
We're up to 8th place now, actually. So we went from 10th to 8th.
Up to 8th.
So we're right in the spot where we say you don't want to be as an MVP.
Yeah, but we're only 2 games out of 6, which is where you want to get to. So
at this point, does it feel like no matter what, Nate is not going to be the coach next year?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's like we're just riding out the rest of this
Yeah,
season.
and I think
Unfortunately, we're not going to win.
so I think part of the thing is, and I saw some articles about this, is Trey doesn't want to give up on the season, which makes sense because I mean Trey's trying to win. And so I saw that recently the GM convinced Trey that we're not giving up, we're going to still make moves to win. And so I think Nate sticks around for the whole season only because who's going to take over when Nate's gone? I just don't think they think there's any upgrade out there right now, and they'd rather do a full coaching search to get the right guy. With that being said,
they moved our option up to assistant GM, right?
yeah, right. Here's a person we were
Corver?
joking about. Yeah, Corver now's assistant GM, which is crazy. There's also a former Cavs GM that they was talking about us bringing in to be senior management, and thank God we didn't. And apparently he pulled his own name out of the ring, which I don't know if that's because he thinks the Hawks are in too much turmoil, but I think we're also dodging a bullet not getting him in our front office because he's one of the people that couldn't win a championship with LeBron on his team. So
I was about to say, generally, with the exception of who they have now, because they're doing well now, the Cavs.
yeah,
But yeah, you want to steer away from people who were in front office management when LeBron was at Cleveland.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the fact that they couldn't get a winning team in his first 8 years there is still beyond me. But back on the Hawks, though, DJM, he was in the running for Player of the Week. He lost to Drew Holiday, which Drew Holiday just had a better week than him. If we went 4-0, I think DJM gets it. But the cool part about the Hawks is that it is a Trey-led team, but Trey's starting to get better at knowing when to take the back seat to DeJounte, and it's been very satisfying to watch. He'll just stop trying to shoot as much and pass the ball more often. Trey's led the team in assists the last 4 games. And it's just been, I don't know, more team basketball. But overall, we're still last in the league. We're second to last in the league in total passes a game, which is not good. I mean, Trey and DJM have a lot of isolation, so the ball's going to be in their hands a lot. But I still feel like we need a little bit more ball movement, even with those guys. I just make the whole team a little bit more effective. But last thing I want to hit on the Hawks before we move on, this is a quick segment on them, is that we did beat the Heat and the Knicks, who are both ahead of us, and we beat the Pacers, who were ahead of us, and we played the Bulls tonight, and we're a 1-point underdog. So if you're listening to this Tuesday morning, hopefully we're celebrating a Hawks W, and then we'll be tied for 7th with the Knicks.
One other thing I wanted to look up, you said that they couldn't put together a winning team in his first 8 years.
Yeah.
They had a winning team in his second year.
No. He won a lot of games, but championship,
okay.
No,
gotcha.
he won. Sorry, yeah, no, he won a lot. What's the one thing about LeBron was so cool is he's willed the Cavs to the playoffs year after year after year, and he willed them to the finals a couple times, and then he was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah,
his best teammate was Verjao.
No, it wasn't Verjao. Mo Williams was
his best.
He was a top point guard in the league at the time.
A top point guard?
I would say at the time he was top
10 or not top 5.
Definitely top 10. Definitely top 10.
Yeah, but not top 5.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
That's his second best player. It's not good. Not good.
Anyway, he had Big Z though. I feel like people discount that, man. You got somebody named Zydrunas Ilgauskas on your team. You got to win more. Worth some wins right there.
You're right. He also had geriatric Shaq.
Well, for a little bit, yeah.
Who didn't have him?
Yeah, Shaq went all over the place for a little bit.
Playing World Tour. But that's all I have about the Hawks right now. Expect a move. They keep talking that John Collins is still going to be on the way out. I don't get it because we're playing fine with him, and in the role he's in, as our 4th best player, because DeAndre Hunter's really stepped up as the number 3.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it works for us. And the fact that Capella is now coming off the bench and Okongwu starting with Collins has been really good because Collins and Capella do similar stuff, and now they're off the court or they're on the court at different times. So it's really helping the whole team chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why we're not doing more of that and just keep John Collins, but the front office seems very dead set on moving him. And could be another reason why Schlank's out of there. I could be
I think part of it is, yeah.
So I'll be honest too about the Hawks. Before Nick Ressler got involved, there was not much coming out of the Hawks front office. When we traded to go get Trae Young, Luka, no one knew that was going to happen and stuff like that. But the last 2 years really has been when John Collins' name has been floated around a lot. And I feel
and that's also been when Nick Ressler apparently has weaseled his way in.
So part of me feels like or maybe it was
Man,
last 3
Blake,
years. But yeah.
you drinking straight moonshine over there, son? My goodness.
It's water.
Hell yeah.
Straight at the jar. We country boy.
We are. But yeah,
Mason
no, I
jars.
mean, to the Travis Schlenk thing, just to touch back on that. Yeah, I mean, I would probably venture that I think all of us would be upset if our boss was just like, hey, how's it going? Here's my son. Here's my boy. He's gonna be your boss now.
Yeah, right. But no one's gonna know he's your boss.
Yeah,
but
right, exactly.
And he doesn't like John Collins. He wants to
Yeah.
move him.
Yeah, the dude that you're kind of trying to that you just gave a bunch of money to, he doesn't like him.
He don't like that. No, he's
Yeah.
gotta go. He's gotta go.
Oh, man.
Uh,
All right, we want to go dogs.
Let's go, dogs.
How about them dogs?
Hell yeah. Okay, so yeah, how about them dogs indeed? Not a ton to talk about. Let's start real quick with just a little recap from the last episode of how the men's basketball team has been doing. They have been a bit lackluster the past couple games. They've lost 2 close games to teams that, in my opinion, we should not have lost to. We went
not
up
bad teams either, though.
I mean, there's not really a bad team in the SEC, but Vanderbilt was 500. They were 9-9. We were 13-4. So yeah, I mean, I feel like we definitely should have beat that team. We're more talented than them. I think we definitely have a better coach. And we went up there. We were getting shamacked for a little while. We did come back, but we fell short. Lost by 3. And then the game before that,
opposite. It was Kentucky. It was Kentucky, and it's the opposite. We were smacking early, and we fell apart.
Yeah.
What is this schmack? When do we start saying schmack?
I don't know, man. We're just, you gotta have a big.
When he said it, I needed to say it afterwards. It felt right.
How long has this schmack thing's been going on?
I got
not long enough, actually.
True. We need to bring schmack back.
Blursed is bringing schmack
back. But yeah. So it's been a disappointing past week for Georgia, but long season, long SEC season, tough SEC season. Hard to win on the road in the SEC. Yeah, forward tough.
Head on down to Stetson Bennett Forward.
Yes.
Today.
Yeah, we're gonna see that commercial in a few years. But yeah, so anyway, we're still optimistic about the team.
We've got a big game Wednesday.
Yes, yeah, we are playing number 4 ranked Tennessee.
At Tennessee.
Okay. So, and you talk about it's weird. I don't know what it is with Knoxville, but I mean, you can visually see why their football stadium is tough to play in, why Neyland is difficult. If you just look at it, or if you're ever there for a game, it's apparent. Why, though, we historically can't win in basketball there, I don't get, but we can't. It's also,
can't do it.
I can count probably. I've been following UGA basketball for better or worse, and it's usually worse for a long time now. And yeah, I could probably count on I would say one hand, but maybe 1 or 2 fingers the amount of times that I can recall us winning a men's basketball game up there.
Tennessee, the last 10 to 15 years, kind of reminds me of Mark Rick Georgia, a really good team, but can never get over the hump. Because Tennessee's not been bad.
You mean
the last 10?
We are still talking about basketball, right?
I am. Yes, I'm just referring to Mark Rick-led Georgia football.
It's been yes. I mean, I still in a way agree with you. I think you correlate success differently in basketball since it is so many more teams.
Right?
They had Bruce Pearl. When I first started watching Bruce Pearl, that's where he first made his name. He went to a couple Final Fours there. They never did win the big one,
right?
But they were they were top 5 ranked, top 10 ranked every single year. He gets all those NCAA violations. They fire him, they get rid of him, and they have some down seasons where they weren't Tennessee. But then they got back. They're so back.
Maybe got back.
And of course, so is Bruce Pearl. He the man might be shady in his dealings, but goddamn, he's a good basketball coach. Okay,
is he their coach again?
Oh no, he's Auburn's coach.
That's right, and they're good.
Yeah, and Auburn's not a basketball school. Prior to Bruce Pearl, they hadn't been good since Charles Barkley was there. Okay,
and they've been good the last couple of years.
They have been good. All right, he took them to the Final Four. Bruce Pearl did. So I mean, the man's just a hell of a basketball coach. Any way you spin it. So That's pretty much UGA basketball. Like we talked about, we got Tennessee game coming up, so look forward to that. Watch it if you can. But outside of that, I'm good to move on from that to who's leaving and who's staying with the Dogs football. Is that a drum roll? Is that what that was? Okay.
Yeah, it's not a good one.
That's
No,
so
it
good.
wasn't.
So good.
That's so
We
good.
have a soundboard over here, but don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
but no,
Blake's
Blake,
got
keep
it.
doing that. Yeah. So
I'm also
one-
make dog noises.
one guy that I didn't really know too much about, but you know how like Hayden has been talking about how big programs like to put dudes as an offensive analyst, and it's basically just a way to get an extra good coach in there.
Yeah.
And one of our offensive analysts, Buster Faulkner, I did want to point that out as far as people leaving
Faulkner.
UGA. So
Faulkner.
Buster Faulkner, barely know her, has been an offensive analyst for us for a little while now. He actually got the job as Georgia Tech's offensive coordinator. So
Oh.
yeah, so he's making
Coaching interstate.
interstate, but hey, that's a hell of a promotion though.
That is.
So
That's a savvy move by
That's a
Tech.
good hire by
It
Tech.
it is. It is.
Wow.
Yeah, so old Buster will be just down 316. He'll be leading the Brent Key and his offensive staff over there. So congrats to him. Excuse
He
me.
can probably get some pretty good insight, Frankie, on Georgia's offense too, just by hiring him too. Just a little bit of that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, tell me what you know.
So then we'll go to what happened first, right as the transfer portal opened. We
Pirtle.
got Pirtle. In fact, that reminds me, Jacob Pirtle, great role player in the NBA, huge guy. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about, Blake.
I actually don't know.
Really, you don't know Jacob Pirtle? All right, we'll go over it. I'll send you Pirtle highlights when we get off the air. But so we got Dominic Lovett from Mizzou, and we got Ra Thomas from Mississippi State. They're two best offensive weapons for either of those teams. Ra Thomas, however, as we are recording this, had some tough news come out. He got some felony charges on his butt, and I don't think we'll be seeing him.
Hopefully nothing serious. Oh,
Yeah.
It's false imprisonment. My God.
Now,
Don't
yes.
do that, guys. Don't do
Yeah,
that.
Don't
Yeah,
do
I don't
that.
think we'll see him play for UGA.
If someone wants to leave your presence, just let them.
Yeah,
just
that's
let them
good
leave.
policy.
It's a good from one human to another.
Let
pretty
him
good-
go.
Yeah, it's a decent thing to do. It's the least. It's actually literally the least you could do is let someone leave you if they want to. But we don't really want to joke about that too much. But so we may not see him a lot. But Dominic Lovett, I am excited about him. I do kind of love that Kirby Smart. Those were two games, especially the Mizzou game, where we went on the road and we struggled. We struggled in the first half a little bit with Miss State, but it was never really a close game. I think we ended up beating them by like 30. But of course, we all know the Mizzou game. That was our closest game all season prior to Ohio State. And Dominic Lovett tore our secondary up. So I just kind of like that Kirby Smart was like, he's just like, hey, you know what? Put that name down. We'll try to get him in the offseason. And just went ahead and just snagged up folks.
Just went and got him.
Yeah, just went and got him. So that's awesome. Now, and this is a bit of a blursening, just this segment in general, because then you go
Breaking news.
folks that are leaving. So we all know that Jalen Carter was going to leave. Like that was going to happen. That's not a huge deal. I mean, it's a huge deal losing someone like that. But
Wait, you mean to the draft?
Yeah, to the draft.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What do you think I meant?
I was like, wait, what's
I thought we were
going
talking
on
about
here?
just transfers.
Me too. I was like, whoa.
I don't know. I
Right.
just meant people that were wearing a uniform last year. that
I see what
won't
you're
be
saying.
this year.
Yep. I see what you're saying.
So Keely Ringo, he's leaving. Another expected one, even though he was technically only a sophomore. Darnell Washington, he's gone. A couple dudes that I don't really know too much about, so I'm not really going to mention them. This one actually shocked me here. Trez Marshall, he's leaving. He's going to go to Nebraska.
Dresden?
Yeah. Tresman Marshall.
I'm on Docs 247, and they're predicting him to go to Alabama. This must be outdated.
Oh no, you're right. I was thinking of somebody else is going to Nebraska. Eric Gilbert's going to Nebraska.
Yes, you're right about that.
You're
Eric
right.
Gilbert.
Yeah, you know.
To play for
You're
Matt
right.
Rule, bring the Cornhuskers
Yeah, old
back.
Matt Rule. Yeah, so which I think might be actually a pretty good hire. I think he's a good
It's a great hire for Nebraska.
Matt Rule's a really good college coach, or at least he
Yeah.
had demonstrated that at two different programs. So
I have a coworker that is a big Nebraska, like that she went to Nebraska, and I've been telling her, like, y'all are going to get start getting better. I feel like.
Oh, they
Higher.
better. So Nolan Smith is leaving again. We knew that was coming. Kyaris Jackson declared for the NFL draft. That one I didn't see happening.
Maybe a late round of the Falcons.
He had eligibility still though, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he had one more year of
That's
eligibility.
interesting.
Yeah, which I thought was weird. So these next two, I think, are two worst losses. Like, no joke. I think these are going to be the biggest holes to fill. And that's Warren McClendon and Broderick Jones. And yes, folks, if you're keeping count, that's both offensive tackles.
Yeah.
So I got a little optimistic a couple episodes ago when I said that there's a chance we return this entire offensive line, because while I was right, there was, it ain't happening.
No.
And of course, with the Devin Willock tragedy, that is another person that won't be on the team next year, who was a huge contributor. He wasn't a starter, but Devin played a ton.
He would have started.
I think Devin probably would have started, given that Broderick and Warren McClendon left. I think he was going to fill in for. He was going to be the starter at the tackle that Warren vacated. But of course, that's a tragedy. No one can predict that. But so we are going to be losing a good bit of talent on the offensive line. Now, with that being said, I think our biggest person coming back is also on the O-line. And yes, I'm partial to the offensive line, but I think there's some merit there. And that's Cedric Van Pran, my man. He is coming back. We will have our center for yet another year. And it is. God, it's so good. And he also spells Cedric with an S. I mean, come on.
And that's why we're going to win back-to-back titles, everybody. That's why we're doing it.
Blake,
I love talking names.
I'm actually all right, so sorry. I'm actually glad you said that, Blake, albeit I'm sure it was a joke, but the thing is, that's the trend.
No, I'm agreeing.
The past 2 seasons, we have had people, huge players, that were gonna leave for the draft and actually ended up coming back, and we won a natty. So the first time it was Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis ended up staying, and we won the national championship. This past year, Nolan Smith ended up staying, and we won the national championship. Now, Cedric Van Pran ends up staying. So we'll CVP or SVP, old Scott Van Pelt. But anyway, so I think that's our biggest one coming back. That is a huge win. I know we already talked about AD Mitchell leaving. That hurts a little bit.
Dominic Blaylock.
Yeah, another couple names I want to mention. Dominic Blaylock's gone, but we are keeping Ladd McConkey. Now, here's a little funny thing about that. Did you guys see Ladd's post?
Yeah.
I saw a lot of, whispers of him leaving, transferring somewhere else. I was like, why? What is that about? Yeah, so I think that it was, I don't know. I don't really know what the deal was there with that. I saw that too. So, but I think it was just maybe the UGA media team just had a template ready to go for Ladd, because if there was one person that I would have told you is for sure not leaving, be it transfer, definitely not NFL, it was Ladd McConkey. But they got this pretty little graphic here for him and everything. So maybe they were just like, make an IG post. Just do it.
Just make it happen. Yeah. I thought it was weird too. Because I was like, was I even questioning him leaving at all?
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's
was bizarre.
Kind of weird, very bizarre. Yes.
Who's this Smoke Buoy guy?
Yes. All right. So glad you brought that up. Talk about names. Hayden, you want to talk about names? We're getting.
Give me the smoke.
Yeah. So a late transfer in from Texas A&M. Smart move. This man is getting out of that sinking ship over there, the axis of evil that has been assembled in College Station. Smoke Buoy. He's a corner. I'm not exactly sure how much playing time, if any, he got there, but I do know he was highly recruited.
He has a high rating for high school. Yeah.
Yes, very high. He was a 5-star recruit. So, we lose Keely Ringo, but we get Smoke Buoy, baby. So one awesome name for another.
Kirby's been doing this year in and year out. Like there's a lot like a mirror. He always goes out and gets like a big name secondary piece and brings it in. Cause I think he understands that like that's the hardest position for a young guy to play in college. It really is one of the hardest, playing next to cornerback. And he keeps doing this. I know like a year or two ago, it was someone else he brought in from, I can't remember somewhere else though, but he was like highly touted and came in and so like from day one contributed.
Yeah. So yeah. Do you guys have any
What
people
about
that I may have missed.
Brett Scyther?
Yeah, Blake, that was one of the names I was not going to mention. Yeah, he's like
He's
a
going to
walk-on.
Tech though. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, true. The fact, yeah, Tech poached some dudes.
A tight end.
Yeah, another tight end is leaving. Rylan Gady, someone I've literally never heard of until he made a Dear UGA post. Leaving. He's transfer.
Something else I wanted to mention.
Oh, Nazir Stackhouse is back. Sorry, I wanted to mention that.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Something else I want to mention too is that Nebraska, like they did a good job in the transfer portal, especially like they got some key, like MJ Sherman, the edge rusher. They also got Jacob Hood from us, tackle, and they also got Eric Gilbert. So they got 3 like highly recruited high school players in the college football that they performed as much. No, but maybe they just need to change the scenery, and Nebraska is bringing in a lot of, I don't know. Pretty cool.
Well, it's interesting like that we've transitioned now to like a powerhouse, like an actual powerhouse that wins championships. And we're always going to be on this side of the transfer portal now because guys are going to, everybody wants to come in. The highest recruited players want to come in and play for UGA. But if they don't make the starting roster or depth chart, then they're going to dip out and play somewhere else. So that we're going to continue to see that trend. So nothing to be concerned about, but you just expect to see it.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, I think we've covered pretty much all the notable names. Let's see. One of our strength coaches, our assistant strength coach, Tersu Uha, he's going to join Deion Sanders' staff at Colorado. I thought that was slightly noteworthy. And let's see, beyond that, I mean, we all know Kendall Milton's coming back. Let's see if there was anyone else I've got noted down here. And of course, Kenny McIntosh is leaving. We know that as well. Warren Erickson. Warren Erickson's a guy, I guess, of note. I don't know if he started any games. If he did, it was only to injury. But he was a very versatile person to sub in and out on the offensive line. On the rare occasion Cedric Van Pran needed to come out, he would go play center. But also Warren Erickson played both guard spots as well. So he super versatile, and he's actually he's not transferring. When I saw it, I thought he was transferring, someone like that. No, he's actually declaring for the NFL draft.
Some weird takes here. I mean, we saw it a couple years ago with Holyfield when he left, and you're like, why?
Yeah, that was the prime
he didn't
one.
get drafted. I'm like, what are you doing?
Right.
But,
did we lose Blake?
Yeah, best of luck to him. Blake had to dip out, but I think we're about wrapped up here. Is there anybody else you wanted to touch on?
No, I think that was everybody of note right there.
All right. Well, since Blake already left, we might as well dip out ourselves. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Blursed once again. It's a little bit slow here in the offseason, but we're going to keep giving some details, and we'll get into the Braves starting next week and start ramping up to spring training. So special shout-out to Oh No putting together this music right here, and thanks for listening.
Bye.
Later. Oh, Aaron
I said it. I said it
this
this time.
Be a good week.
Yeah.
All right. Later, everybody.